Hello, everybody. This is Debo's Movie Reviews here, and today I will be reviewing Fate of the Furious, directed by F. Gary Gray, starring Vin Diesel as Dominic Toretto, Michelle Rodriguez as Letty Ortiz Toretto, Charlize Theron as Cyper, Nathalie Emmanuel as Ramsey, Ludacris, aka Chris Bridges as Tej Parker, Tyrese Gibson as Roman Pierce, Dwayne The Rock Johnson as Luke Hobbs, featuring Scott Eastwood as Little Nobody, Kurt Russell as Mr. Nobody, Jason Statham as Deckard Shaw, featuring Luke Evans as his brother Owen in a second outing as Shaw from Furious 6. Then there's Dame Helen Mirren and Nicholas, I can't pronounce the guy's, well, guy played Tormund on Game of Thrones. That's all I can know but I'm kind of brain farting on that guy's name right now. So no disrespect if he's watching this. And of course, got to mention how featuring Patrick St. Esprit who was best known as Commander Hicks on SWAT. And that does it for the cast, but now to the rest of the movie and some tidbits of the franchise. I gotta say, excellent addition to the franchise and a major challenge of the franchise to move on following the passing of Paul Walker. So I got feeling it was kind of fitting that Scott Eastwood was cast, given how Paul was friends with him as well as Tyrese, who stayed on. And kind of a great storyline, especially with it being the first movie to film in Cuba since long before Castro took over. I'll say this much: about 1950, according to Internet Movie Database. And with Eastwood's character, kind of fitting that he went by no name, since he's the son of Clint Eastwood, who played the man with no name. For those are for another review. And gotta give it to The Rock, although with how he soldiered on throughout this movie, despite how the bad blood between him and Vin Diesel. And that kind of just helped contribute to this bonkers plot of how the franchise gone from street racing to where this one was a full-on spy movie, to whereas Vin Diesel gets coerced into working for Cypher. And I gotta give it a Charlize Theron, because that's one of the greatest. Her performance as Cypress pretty much makes her one of the greatest female villains in all of cinema. I mean, I'm talking about cold, just from how she manipulated Dom throughout the movie, and then ordered the death of Elena right after he had to, right after finding out, right after Dom found out he had a son by her and all that, and man, talk about cold, but definitely out one of a definite diabolical villain. I mean, well, old Charlie's knocked it out of the park with that one. And I gotta give it, of course, with Fast and Furious, gotta have some great car action. Though I always kind of thought it was weird for it to do like the Cuba race. I mean, I always thought that was cool because of how that with the embargo and all the cool ass 1950 cars from the 50s and all. And I always kind of thought, but they had to put their own brand of weirdness by making it by challenging Dom to instead of racing in that Impala, which I can admit at the time the embargo was temporarily off, but still, that was the '62 Impala, not where to be to where the embargo was supposed to have been 59 and older. Nothing newer than 59. Then you got which which kind of would have thought instead of just ruining a, a fleet line, could have did an old nod to old stock car to the convertible series with like a 57 or a Fury, which is surprising given how Dom Toretto is supposed to be a Mopar guy, yet he's driving an Impala in the movie. I mean, yeah, racing old 50 Ford. I mean, a 50 old other dude in there racing like a 57 Crown Victoria, and I'll say great race scene, but it's weird where I'm just strip down all those that dude's car and only to give it a what and not take that good cool looking Ford in a pink slip. Then and of course you had that whole bonker scenarios in New York with you know with Cypher being the super hacker using their computers to hack all those cars in New York just to stop a Russian defense minister and kidnap nuclear launch codes and all. And woof, talk about out of there. I mean, especially we got the whole thing with a whole set of cars, and then you get that whole. Which I'm surprised they didn't let Roman use that orange Lambo for that scene instead of that whole ice chase for Siberia. And oof, although that was some great action there to just go from where Dom finally has enough after the Shaw brothers rescue little Brian from the plane and pull with Jason Statham pulling his homage to John Woo's Hard Boiled with that scene, and great use for the closest of an acceptable version of a PG-13 version of Hard Boiled I'll accept. I mean, just fighting off terrorists while holding a baby and all. I mean, that's just badass right there. And Helen Mirren, I mean, just excellent performance by her, of course, as the as the as the mother of the Shaw brothers, and then the Shaw sister from the Hobbs and Shaw sequel, which will be reviewed later on. Then, of course, you got Luke Evans coming back, and I got to give it to him. And the whole trope of when it comes to Fast and Furious villains turning good, which this one is practically most prevalent, but kind of set a pattern given the state of some sequels of how, like in 7, Shaw was a straight up villain. Deckard was. Then of course turns good after Mr. Nobody orchestrates that prison escape with Hobbs and Shaw. I mean, how talk about some badass fight scenes there, and of course Cypher sending Dom to attack Nobody's headquarters. And woof. I gotta give it to some badass looking cars where little nobody had like had a 350Z in the New York sequence, the Bentley, lady in that Corvette with the with them cores and such, almost looked like they went from taking pages out of the Dukes of Hazzard playbook and straight on to James Bond and Batman playbooks. Because that's some Batmobile shit right there. And of course, gotta give us some excellent combat scenes, especially that one scene after Roman wrecks that Lambo and then falls off and he's capping goons left and right. And then of course ride with Hobbs while he driving from the passenger seat while he knocks that torpedo out the way. And of course with Toretto and that specially modified Charger in the Siberia part before they get to the whole badass sequence with the submarine. And oof, and back to the whole scene with the extraction of little Brian and how Cypher got away, and of course she be back, but back for Furious 9, which will be another review, of course, and then then there's just great movie. I'm gonna say Fate of the Furious is a definite. I'm gonna say a 4 out of 5 because because at first I was like just way too bonkers at first, but hey, after a couple of repeats, it kind of stepped up to to scratch that and make that a 5 out of 5 because I should say at first I felt like it wasn't the same without Paul, and then and of course he wanted the franchise to continue without him. All right, that's it. I'll keep dishing them out and review and keep dropping videos. Y'all like, subscribe, and follow my page. Put some suggestions in the comments for future reviews, and I'll probably get to them. All right, y'all. That'll do it for this week. Tune in next week. All right, y'all. This is Debo out.